All right, Pod on Lansdowne is pleased, overjoyed to welcome on yet another guest to the program. Fitz here alongside Jake and Liam. And we're joined by Ben Porter, friend of the program. Ben, welcome onto the show. Thanks for coming on this week. We love having you on.
Thanks for asking me here, guys. It's excited to get into some baseball terminology. I love seeing the Red Sox gear around. Fitzy gets the nice condom hat on.
That's exactly how I called it.
We were talking about that before we hopped on.
Yeah, it's one of the great looks. What, 1 year, 46 or something?
Like late 40s, early 50s, something like that. I love it. I have a laptop sticker of it, and I saw the hat recently at Fenway. I was like, I got to get the condom socks hat, baby. It's a good look.
I love it.
I was saying, even though it's a sock, it feels racially charged, that hat.
It kind of does. No racial connotations to it whatsoever.
Nothing, it's not actually, but it feels that way.
Now that you point it out, it looks that way.
Yeah.
Store brand Chief Wahoo.
Oh boy.
Whoa.
Hey now, canceled right off the bat. And so this is actually our time to announce that Liam's actually been fired from the show, and Ben's coming off full time.
It's a great run.
But no, Ben, you mentioned it. We're doing baseball terminology. If you listened last week, we mentioned at some point we wanted to get into our favorite baseball terms, and we kind of started talking about it just a little bit. And I said, you know what, fellas, let's shelve this for next week, and then let's get someone onto the program to kind of join us in this conversation. Ben jumped up in my head right away as like a perfect guy to do it, and he was kind enough again to hop on here. We're talking about our favorite baseball terms, and going back to last week, I did mention that I think baseball lends itself to the best slang out of all the sports. And Jake, you mentioned maybe hockey like falls in that same sphere too, but baseball just has so many random terms.
Yeah, baseball I think has better terms. Hockey has better like the way guys talk, if that makes sense. Like it has its own sort of like accent, which baseball doesn't have, but baseball's their phrases and stuff I think top hockey's. But yeah, that's the only other sport that comes close, I think.
So I don't know how you guys have it prepared. I just have a full list of terms that are near and dear to my heart. I mean, we can kind of go around. We can do a top five. You do a Mount Rushmore. You can tier them. Whatever you feel like doing, however you want to present it, it is up to you. Let's go with the guest first, though. Ben, just pick one of your terms, and then I guess we'll just kind of just riff from there. We'll just go term after term after term. Yeah. But why don't you get us started? What's a good baseball term to start off this conversation?
I've got a long list, but I'm going to start with tooth plan.
Oh, that was on my list.
That's a great one.
Yep. One of my favorites.
Why don't you spell it out for the listeners?
Yeah, that's an acronym for thrown out on the base paths like a nincompoop. It's basically just a horrible base running mistake, and I love it. I love how it's spelled. I love how it looks. Love the way it sounds. So, tooth plan.
That's appropriate for the Red Sox on a Red Sox show. Just horrible base running errors and whatnot. That's a team that has habitually made them over the years. That's a almost like perfect way to start it off.
Thank you. Yeah,
that's the Benintendi trademark.
On the back of that, this was not on my list, but I did see it on Twitter yesterday because the Red Sox accomplished it. But a similar thing is the Noble Tiger, which is the no outs, bases loaded ending with team incapable of getting easy run, which is also so those are two peas in a
That
pod.
is crazy.
Yeah, I've never heard that one. Yeah,
no, I saw it on Twitter yesterday. Somebody tweeted it because the 8th inning yesterday, the Sox did that, and yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I hadn't seen it until yesterday, but it's good.
Well, if we're talking acronyms, and it's a shame that this one really won't be used that much anymore, just because of the nature of the 3 out 3 batter rule for relievers. Yeah. Loogie has always been my favorite lefty 1 out guy. Again, that's got to be A tier, S tier for me. As a fellow Southpaw myself, with Southpaw, I know that's not exclusive to baseball, but Southpaw is a great term itself for a lefty.
Loogie's probably dead entirely. I mean, when would it ever?
I know
it can't. Exist
it's not
anymore.
Not possible anymore.
Yeah, no. not sustainable.
It's an honorary title now.
It's gone by way of the dodo. Yeah.
What's your guys' favorite? Name your favorite loogie of all time.
Oh,
favorite loogie. I'm gonna go
Javier Lopez. That's
a
a
good
four-time
one.
champ right there.
That's a good one. Yeah. Wait, 4? Who was his
Yeah.
4th?
Well, he won.
He was on the 07
07.
Sox, wasn't he?
Yeah, and then he
that's
was
right.
on all 3 Giants teams, which is crazy.
That's a good one.
Breslow
Javier's
was a
good
lefty,
one.
right? Craig Breslow.
Yeah, but he wasn't a loogie.
He wasn't a loogie,
He was.
though.
He was more.
was
Yeah,
literally
fighting
like
those
the seventh
middle of those
inning.
orders.
Yeah, he
In
taxed
theory-
the critical.
In theory, you could have a loogie at the very end of the game. You could have a one-out matchup
Yeah, you
play
could.
that,
Or
that
can
ends
you
the
do it
game.
at the end of an inning as well?
I'm
Yeah,
not
2 outs
sure
in the
about
inning,
that.
right?
Like if
If-
there's 2
if
outs, I
it
think you
ends
can bring a
in
guy
an
in.
inning.
and
If
he
they
can get the one
complete
out,
the
and he
inning,
doesn't
then-
have to continue.
Yeah, if they complete the inning, right?
The loogie lives on in theory.
Okay. All right.
Maybe
Well,
not
that's
in
good.
practice.
It's not totally dead.
I'm going to become a manager just to get into situations where I can still
To
use
bring
a
back the
loogie.
loogie.
Even if it's not advantageous. I'll bring out a lefty against like Acuna or Trout or something like that. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to get the one out with my lefty, and then the loogie will thrive under my reign.
There you go. There you go.
You just got to be Billy Bean from Moneyball, where he's like, I don't care about lefty righty. Just get him out there.
He gets guys out.
I don't know
Also-
my favorite. That's a tough one to just think of on the spot right here.
To rip off. They're all such random guys.
Yeah, which is half of this brand of the show. It's just naming random
Remembering
guys.
dudes.
Guys being dudes.
This has Javier Lopez as one of the best loogies of all time. This list on
Put him in the Hall of
whatever
Fame.
this is.
Cooperstown won.
And Randy Choate.
Oh, another classic.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Well, how
long
about
live the loogie. That's where we end up on that, huh?
There's your episode title.
Long live the
Um,
loogie.
All right, so what's our order? So Ben went first, but who's
Liam, have you thrown one
No,
out yet?
I'll hop right in there. Another like baseball Twitter euphemism, I guess. Because I believe that's where it originated because it's because of a GIF. But the shrimp, when it's a walk-off walk, and you see that GIF of the
Oh,
shrimp
yeah.
on like the treadmill.
I didn't know
Well,
it made its way to a term.
It's the shrimp. Walk-off shrimp.
I wasn't aware of that one either. Educational podcast.
That's a niche one. It has to be.
Yeah, that's you got to be a shit poster to appreciate.
Oh
that.
yeah.
Noble
Very
Tiger
seasoned-
and the shrimp.
No.
we're really digging deep here early on.
I know, right? You would think like you would get like a can of corn out of the way or something like that, which is a great term. Can of corn is fantastic.
Phenomenal term.
No, we're getting right into the deep album cuts, basically. If you're a fan, the B sides. Ben, why don't you throw out another one? Just keep going around the horn here.
We're
Which
just
around the horn, great
turning
one.
away.
I didn't even realize
Oh,
that.
there's
Around the horn,
another
great term.
one.
you guys know I'm big into like old school dead ball era type stuff. I saw a newspaper clipping that was like Slabster holds batters to 0 runs or something. So I'm going with Slabster for
I like
pitcher.
that one.
An old school. Oh, we've got a great Slabster on the hill here today.
Oh, that's not a guy's name? That's like a nick I thought Slapster was his
guy-
name.
the guy who takes the slab.
It probably was a guy's name too. Slapster O'Hallahan
I like
from the
that
Boston
one.
Bean Eaters
So yeah,
took
Slab's
on the Provincetown
fantastic.
Quarrymen.
I want to bring it back a little bit. I mean, they were so eloquent in their words back then. You
Well,
hear that one.
Well, whenever anyone made a mistake back in the day, they called it a boner to bring it back to
That's
the
right.
condom socks
yeah,
ad.
Merkel's boner. Yeah.
Merkel's boner.
Poor guy.
I have on sort of that train of thought. One I want to throw in is the Mendoza line because
yeah.
what an awful legacy to have. That like your legacy is when a guy sucks. That's
Like,
your name.
is he-
You
Is he
know,
You're
above
the
or below it.
You're the face of bad hitting. That's a bad brand. You gotta rebrand yourself from that somehow, some way.
I wonder if the Mendoza line, like the term, will go the way of the dodo because guys
Go the way of
just
the loogie.
Go the way of the loogie. Yeah.
because it's like not a big deal
Because
anymore.
guys just,
Like people
Yeah,
just
nobody-
hit 200
average
now.
anymore.
Nobody
Yeah.
cares.
The Sox
about
have like
average.
5 guys near the Mendoza line.
They shifted
Yeah.
down to the Dahlbeck line, like 170.
The Chris Davis with the C line.
Yeah. In that same vein, another one that I love saying when a guy even below the Mendoza line, you say he can't hit his body weight.
Yeah,
That's a good
that's
one.
a good one. Guys are too big now, though. That's not really a good roast a lot of the time now.
I like one along those lines is like where he can't hit his way out of a wet paper bag. It's another good one.
Couldn't hit water if
Okay,
he fell out
another
of a
one.
boat.
Like can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Yeah.
That's good. One of those
Classic.
too.
Just that
Yeah.
genre of
The best slang is making fun of guys. I think like, oh, this guy stinks, and then you have your fun with that.
This guy's a
there's
duster.
much-
He's so bad at
yeah,
baseball, he just kicks up dust.
Actually, now that I'm looking, most of the ones I wrote down are when a guy is bad. There's very few good slang like complimenting someone.
I've got all that. I've got slapdick prospect coined by.
Yeah,
by
yes.
Blake
That's a
Snell
great
last
one.
year.
Slapdick prospect. Yep. Shit
Blake
kicker.
Snell, public enemy #1 in Philadelphia right now.
Yeah.
Blake Snell.
Bryce was not happy, rightfully so. And he really, he recognized like, hey, he didn't mean to hit me.
He was
high
so
in, but
dramatic.
He still did.
I love how he was
Yeah.
yelling, but he was so angry. He's like, "I know this wasn't your. I know you didn't mean to do it."
like gritting his teeth.
I respect you as a man, but nevertheless, I'm in pain. Liam, let's keep it rolling.
Yeah,
Any you want to throw?
I'll do
any
another-
for a bad player to keep it on.
I think
the
for a
genre.
bad player,
I have
not
a
off the
bad
top of
player
my
one.
head here. Go
I've got,
ahead then, Jake.
Golden sombrero and platinum sombrero.
Oh yeah,
Those are great ones.
that was on my
So
list. Yeah.
do we know the origin of those? Like what? Why is that what it is? Like why is
I don't
it?
know. I'll look it up right now. You guys keep talking.
What a
I'm trying to find
bizarre
it.
thing to
Because what?
um,
Golden's 4, Platinum's 5.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
God,
My
Okay,
mind
so-
I mean,
goes to,
a
like,
platinum sombrero is pathetic. That's like
that's tough. That's like Mark Reynolds.
I believe
Like,
Bobby
the
had a platinum
inventor.
sombrero last year. I think.
Doesn't surprise me. This is just the Bobby Dahlbeck slander hour as well.
Yeah, I guess.
According to Wikipedia etymology, the term derives from hat trick, and since 4 is bigger than 3, the rationale was that a 4 strikeout performance should be referred to by a bigger hat, such as a sombrero.
That makes
All right.
sense
Sure.
when you put
I
it
was
that
thinking.
way.
I was thinking like in summer ball or minor leagues, there's always like a K batter. I was thinking maybe there was like a churro batter or a burrito batter or something, or he just put a sombrero on his head or something.
I
But
wish other sports. I mean, baseball I think works the best, but I wish baseball had like a 3 home run game. You would throw hats like hockey. That'd be fun. Why don't they do that?
There's something different, like throw your shoe. I don't know.
It's rare
Belt.
enough.
shoe trick.
Then what would you do for a 4 home run game? Because that's the real deal. I guess that's just more
More-
rare, so it's
More
tougher
rare
to
than
have
a
it.
perfect game, I think.
I think it is.
I think you're right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, do you guys? I mean, I'm the hockey guy, I guess, but there was a couple of years ago, Joe Thornton was saying that one of his teammates, the other team got pissed and they're like, "Oh, you're celebrating too hard on your 4th goal." And Joe Thornton was like, "If I ever scored 4 goals,
Yeah.
I would take my cock out." And then it
Stroking
became
it, he said, yeah.
and stroke it, yeah. And then it became that was the cock trick was 4 goals.
Cock
So
trick.
we could do that, maybe.
We
Guys,
can try that one on,
Everybody
see if
in the
it sticks.
stands.
Well, I've got
On the
cock
count of
shot and
3.
dick baller.
What?
You got
Pulls it
cock
up.
shot, Ben.
I've got cock shot and dick baller here while we're on the
Yeah,
subject.
those are good.
Ooh,
Piss missile for a home run. That's good.
Mhm.
Cock related. What I mean, there's a ton of cock related terms in a
Yeah,
dick
the
high
Johnson.
fastball. Yeah, a
Dick
Johnson. Yeah,
It's a
dick
regular
high
Johnson.
Oh,
fastball.
a Johnson, yeah.
With Johnson, I've got anything X says. It's on my list.
yeah. I was making
I
my
actually
list.
had an
and
eck. I had an eck. I wrote down ones, and then I put a gap in my list, and then I put eck, and then there was another
Yeah.
list. It was like its own subsection.
Yeah, as I was
Um,
making mine, I realized it was just like that Twitter account, like the Actionary.
Actionary,
Yeah.
which I'm pulling up right now, seeing if there's any good recent
So I've
ones.
got Well, what did you guys have for your eck stuff?
I just
Well,
wrote
obviously-
X says. There's too many.
Oh,
of 'em.
everything XS.
I mean,
That's your-
the moss, high cheddar.
moss.
Look at
Yeah.
that moss. I
the
gotta have it.
cheese. Yeah, oh,
Gotta have it is
it.
my
Gotta have
my
favorite
favorite
one.
one.
hair.
I
I
Split
put
me.
Pair of
I put
shoes.
leave
Yep.
Earth. Leave Earth for a home run.
Mm.
That's a good one.
Four and a hazel, which is 450. He said that once.
4 days. Baboobas.
Yeah.
Just to stay in shape. Just to whenever
Yes.
somebody. That's a good one.
Ball
One of my
guy.
favorite.
I
One of
love
my
it.
favorite Eck things is when he calls something a blank piece. A piece is just something that happens in a baseball game. It is
Yeah,
just
all
it could be
companies.
Thing.
It could be any. It could be something good. It could be something bad. Something in the middle.
Split piece.
It's in any of it.
It could be a pitch or a hit or a
Split me.
throw
Split me's another
or a
classic.
CG
it could be
shut
anything,
piece.
yeah.
I've got piece too.
Piece.
Yeah. Hose piece, slide piece. So.
I gotta have it. The Yak Man.
gotta have it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Yacker.
I'm surprised. Like his nickname for Xander, I feel like is totally under the radar. He calls him the Gumby Man. Yeah, I don't feel like nobody's ever talked about that. Calls him the Gumby Man like regularly.
Did that just like happen in the middle of a game or something? He
I
just said
think
it, or what? Like, where does that come from?
He said it recently, and I was like, "Why is he calling him Gumby?" And I looked it up on Twitter, and he's been saying it since like 2019. Apparently, I was like, I've never heard him call that.
Trying to get it to catch on, and
Yeah,
It just
people
never
haven't picked it
has.
up.
Well, baseball guys just sort of, God bless my dad. He insists on calling Bobby Dahlbeck Donkenbonk, and I think it's hilarious just because he loves that nickname. I don't know who else has called him Donkenbonk, but I'm gonna roll with it. Sometimes baseball guys, I guess maybe they get the idea of a nickname in their head and they just try to roll with it.
I think
Try to find some good
because
equivalents.
of social media, you see guys like blow up with new nicknames. Like Carabas always does that. Guys
yeah.
just take
Regularly,
off,
yeah.
and then I feel like they try to do it in the booth now. They're just
You
like,
know,
oh, guys,
we
you can
didn't
get some
prepare
notoriety.
throwing
for
shit at the
this.
wall.
We didn't prepare for this, but a little nickname talk could be good here. That's
That
sort
would
of
be
in the
another good
same-
one.
Technically,
Yeah.
baseball terms.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Sangwon O, the Stone Buddha.
Oh, that's
one of my
good.
favorites.
I
I think my
Stone
favorite
Buddha.
is Fred McGriff.
Crime Dog.
Crime Dog.
Crime
Crime
Dog.
Dog.
Crime
yeah.
Dog's great.
That's a pretty damn good one. Say hey kid.
Yeah.
Obviously that's
Of course.
that's just clean.
Of course.
That's classic.
Passon actually had a crime. Or no, wait. I think he had a Crime Dog shirt on today.
When you flew
When I was
next to
next
him,
to him. Yeah.
down to Paradise, even though he was only going
Yeah.
to North Carolina. Did you invite him on
Yeah.
the show? Did you tell him to come onto the pod anytime?
No, I got scared.
Well,
Oh,
we
my
tweeted. You
goodness.
tweeted at him after the
I
fact.
tweeted at him. I didn't say it to his face though.
Right?
Coward.
Coward. Should be
Sorry.
like, we're having a Bobby Dahlbeck variety hour.
he's
you should come on.
big time, man. I was.
Oh yeah,
I
he's
did
very
see him.
huge.
I did see him like texting sources briefly, and I was like, "Wow!" But behind the
coulda-
scenes here, it was
You
exciting
could have
stuff.
you could have got some breaking news for the pod.
I
Yeah, you
know
shoulda.
he didn't have. I asked about the Red Sox, and he said no, just what's been reported, like out.
Jakey Scoops.
They're looking for relievers, and I was like,
Ugh.
"Yeah, no shit, Jeff."
The most basic, yeah, the most basic.
Yeah.
thing.
You glance over to Jeff's phone and he's texting Fernando Tatis. He sends him the picture of a stock image of a baseball. He goes, "You like what you see?"
Just trolling guys.
He yeah, he didn't have anything. I texted Liam and Fitz this, but he is a firm believer that the Red Sox will end up extending Devers and letting Xander walk. That's what that's what he's hearing.
Did he say it's because they're signing Judge instead? That's where the money's going.
He thinks the Yankees will
And-
eventually
and
pony
Ohtani.
up. And Ohtani, yeah.
And Ohtani.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, that's all I got though. No insider information. Sorry.
We need Dombrowski back if we want both of those guys.
Yeah,
Deal
just
a
throwing
duty.
money around.
Yeah, exactly. Break the bank.
Back to the nicknames. Obviously, you have ones like the Splendid Splinter. You know all those kind of guys. Big Unit for Randy Johnson, which probably referencing his cock. It's going back to penis talk. One of the. I just pulling it up here. Just a list of great baseball nicknames. I didn't think of this one off the top of my head, but poor Dummy Hoy. His nickname being Dummy.
There are so
think he was-
many old school ones.
Do you
Like,
guys
was he
remember
deaf?
them?
Icebox
Dummy
Chamberlain
Hoy?
or Boiler Yard Clark. Because
Mordecai Three Finger Brown.
Oh, Three
Yeah,
Finger
the
Brown. is
really
great.
old ones are insane. Like
the
The
best
Three
part
Finger
is-
Brown. That's so on the nose.
The best part
Like,
about those
who's-
ones is
yeah.
that's what they're named on Baseball Reference.
yeah.
It's not their
Chicken- Chicken Hawks and Chicken. What's the other chicken guy name? I forget. There's two guys named Chicken on Baseball Reference. Both of them have an animal as their last name. Chicken Wolf
That's
and Chicken
crazy.
Hawks. Yeah.
Old Haas Radborn.
Big Jeff Pfeffer, who is brother. His brother's name is also Jeff Pfeffer. So there's Big Jeff Pfeffer.
Oh my god!
Is he
Oh, that's
little
like
Jeff?
Odor. Isn't
Big-
Odor's brother the same? He
It's like
has
his
the same name
brother,
as him?
his dad, and his uncle. They like all have.
Yeah,
the
they're
same
all
name,
Rufan
right?
Odor, right?
Yeah,
Well, I think Wander Franco
Wander
has like
Franco,
three
yeah.
brothers who are all Wander Franco.
That's dudes rock right there.
That's-
Sharing a name with your
Keep rolling
entire
with it.
male
So
family.
Big Jeff Pfeffer, I believe, is Jeff Pfeffer's little brother. Funny enough,
Oh,
it's something like that. He was either
is he little? Is he little?
Contrary to popular
Jeff?
belief.
no, he's just Jeff.
He's just
Pfeffer.
Jeff. Oh, it'd be funny if the older one was little and the younger one was, just to throw off whoever.
It's crazy, yeah. Old school baseball nicknames.
What
I'm
about?
gonna
Do you guys remember when they
Lex-
tried to make the Muddy Chicken happen?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Or
I
like a
feel like a
hot-
lot of
Yeah,
nicknames.
that was like a
today,
year.
Like they just fall flat. Like
They feel
the Muddy
forced.
Chicken was wild.
You can't force a nickname.
I explicitly remember in 2008 going back to Pedroia, speaking of his nicknames, during the 08 run when they ended up losing to the Rays in the ALCS. Maybe it was 07, it doesn't matter. Ernie Johnson, because they were playing on TBS, Ernie Johnson was the play-by-play on one of the games. And I explicitly remember Ernie saying, well, Dustin's teammates call him El Caballito, which is Spanish for the little pony. I'm like, no one has ever called Dustin Pedroia the little pony, Ernie
The
Johnson.
little pony.
Especially not when he was like a rookie or just starting out in his career. Like no one was calling him that. I'm like, someone like Ortiz must have gone in his ear like just to fuck with him, just to say, oh yeah, we call him the little pony. Oh yeah,
Then there's that story Ortiz didn't know his
know his
name
first
for like a
name, yeah.
decade, right?
yeah.
What did he say?
So,
He called
He's
him.
like,
what
hey
did he
man,
call
why
him?
the fuck's he calling you that? They're like,
Yeah, he was
that's
like-
my name.
Yeah.
That's a good
This
one.
guy won an MVP award. He was rookie of the year. Didn't know his name.
Team members for at least 10 years.
10
I'm
years,
going
huh?
through some of
Yeah.
these nicknames. There was a guy named Harry Davis in 1933. His nickname was just Stinky.
I was gonna like
Short,
Pee Wee
sweet,
Reese.
to the point.
Oh,
Pee Wee
God.
Reese.
I would say if we had
Bronze
to go
the
back to
Penguin.
like, if we had to
Ooh,
go back to
nice.
like sayings, one of my favorites, just the classic out of left field, and it's mainly just
Do you
because
know
like
where that came from?
the,
Do you
the
have?
story behind it is
Yeah.
amazing. Because
I don't know
what
the
is
story.
share it.
What's the?
It's
It was Chicago.
was it Chicago? Okay, so it
Yeah.
was like there was an insane asylum like beyond the ballpark out in left field, and so like
Yeah.
if something crazy happened, they'd say, "Yeah, that's
Oh,
like,
would
like,
you
that's
come
out
from
of
left field or something?
Yeah.
Like, it was like,
Wow.
it was,
Like,
it was
that's where it
derogatory.
originated.
It was derogatory at the
Crazy.
beginning, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The more you
Surprised that
know.
hasn't been-
That's a
surprised that
classic.
hasn't been canceled yet.
Give it
Well,
a couple
now
years
will
that
be.
might be unearthed. You know,
They'll take that.
maybe this is the start of it. Maybe. Wow,
They'll
I
take-
never heard
We're
that.
talking about it.
They'll take that
Yeah.
out of circulation soon.
I remember
no?
I saw that one that the last one I had written down that we have not touched on is maybe my favorite is chin music.
I've
I
got
just
some
love it.
music. Yep.
It's
Yeah,
just a
brush
fun
him-
thing
brush
to
him off
say.
the plate.
You know?
Brushing back,
Yeah.
high and tight,
Yeah.
chin music. Love it.
Yeah,
Chin music.
I
I've
love
got,
one that's. Or you first, Ben.
Oh, I was just gonna say, while we're talking nicknames, it's kind of not really a nickname, but professional hitter Michael Brantley. They say it every broadcast.
Yeah.
Yesterday during they were playing the Yankees and they said it again. I was like, Jesus, they won't give this a rest. He's the only guy referred to consistently as a professional hitter.
Like no shit. Like a lot of them are professional hitters. That's,
Right.
I would
that's
hope
their
they are.
job. it's like when like sometimes baseball commentators do this, but you hear it a lot when you're watching a football game. You'll hear a football commentator, like someone makes like a dives for a first down or something like that, right? Or like, plays to the end of the whistle. And they'll go, this guy right here is a football player. Like trying to like comment like, oh, he's like a hard-nosed, gritty kind of a player. But they just describe him as a football player. Yeah, no shit. Like that's adding nothing to the conversation here. Of course he's a football player.
That reminds me of that meme where it's like the road work ahead sign, and the guy's like, "Yeah, like I sure hope it does."
Yeah, sure. The Vine there. Yeah, classic Vine.
Yeah, so good.
That kid makes good YouTube videos these days. I'm an avid
does?
Drew Gooden. That's his name.
Is that
Shout
who
Shout
he
out
is?
Drew. Shout out Drew Gooden.
Friend
He
of
was
the
a good
pod.
viner. Evan Breen was
This
a
is
good viner.
I'm on the Wikipedia page that's just like glossary of baseball terms. I've never heard this, probably because it's a little offensive. Oh, it actually says that.
Oh no.
Chinese home run. I've never heard that one.
Ooh, that sounds.
I love
Yeah,
that
you
on the
guys,
shelf.
it
you
actually
guys
says at
react.
the end of
You guys
it says
react
at the end of the entry.
Ooh.
Here, I'll read it for you guys. An older term for a
Just
my
keeps
dad,
going.
my an older term for a home run, often a high fly ball that barely clears the fence at that part of the outfield closest to the plate. It was frequently used in reference to such hits at the Polo Grounds, former home of the Giants, which had notoriously short foul lines. Its use has declined since that stadium was demolished, and even further as it has been perceived as ethnically offensive. So
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I guess
Yeah,
that
100%
one's
could
dead.
be perceived.
I don't
as
really
that 'cause
get it either,
is.
but sure.
It doesn't make that doesn't. It's not a satisfying description.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Just call it a Mickey Mouse home run. That's right. Calling anything Mickey Mouse is funny.
Yeah.
Like I know it's been beaten
that's
into the
a
ground
good
by
one.
like
I mean, that's not
teenagers, but
exclusively baseball now, but Mickey
It's just
Mouse
good.
anything is the best. It's one of the funniest things you could say.
Baltimore
I've got a-
Chop is a good one. I've
Ooh,
always been a
love a
fan of
Baltimore
Baltimore
Chop.
Chop.
Yep.
I don't know why it's a Baltimore Chop. I don't know why it's a Boston Chop or a Brooklyn Chop. Or I don't know why it's
I
Baltimore.
think
but-
as the resident Mid Atlantic member of the podcast.
oh yeah,
so
yeah.
apparently so apparently the National League Orioles of the 1890s, powerhouse. This is my Ken Burns moment.
So a
apparently-
ragtime version of America the Beautiful plays in the background.
The trumpet take me out to the ball game.
it's a still image of like black and white baseball field.
I might edit this music over that while you explain this,
My
but go
favorite.
ahead.
So when John McGraw was the manager of the National League Orioles, like their strategy was because they had Wee Willie Keeler on the team. And he was fast. And they're a
Wee
great
Willie
name.
Get up, dude.
But so the strategy was like you're supposed to just hit it straight into the ground, and it'll bounce up in the infield, and it'll be up in the air
Oh.
long enough that you get to first base easily. So
Oh, I
there's
love
my there you
There
go.
you go.
What a cartoon ass way of managing a baseball team.
It's, I don't
When
know,
Wee
just
Willie-
slap down on it.
When Wee Willie Keeler stepped up to the plate, I told him hit it directly into the ground.
right, yeah. Right in front of the catcher, and hopefully the ball is made of flubber, so it will jump all the way up, and you'll be able to get a double out of it without even reaching the mound.
Oh, man.
Ooh, they were
God,
God,
powerhouse
old people
though.
were so stupid back in the day. You're kidding me?
Ugh.
I've got an old term, old school baseball term. That's a daisy cutter, and that's just like a hard hit ground ball.
Daisy, I've
Oh,
not
I
heard of
like
that.
that.
I got to
Like a
dig
worm
that.
burner, like a
Like
worm
a worm
burner.
burner, yeah. So I think my
Daisy cutter.
one of my friends was reading a book about, I don't know, World War I or something, but there was a baseball player. All those guys were soldiers and baseball players at the same time or whatever. And the passage was like, oh, he was a great shortstop. He could catch a daisy cutter with his teeth. And it was like such a classic. It's like such a classic old school.
He'd
way to
lose
speak.
4 of them in the process, but he still made a great play.
He could catch a daisy cutter with his teeth. That's probably how
See?
they, yeah.
As the Canton pipe fitters defeated the... Have you ever noticed back in the day, like all those, like, people didn't smile in pictures until like 1952. What was the deal with that? Everyone, like, also like 15-year-old boys looked like they were 45. You basically
It was
took your
after the
age and-
war. People started smiling more after the war. After we beat the Nazis.
It's like that.
That's what they
Facebook,
credited to.
it's like the Facebook meme. The guy's like, there's a comment under his profile picture like, "Oh, you should smile." He's like,
A
"Nothing
smile
to
would be-
smile about."
Ain't nothing. There ain't nothing to smile about
Yeah, for
before
real.
the 50s. Really, I mean, it was like kids were in factories and
Coal
kids.
mines, yeah.
There was nothing good over there.
coal mine, yeah, being put into the iron lung stuff, things of that nature.
I saw an iron lung the other day. It's completely off track.
Not
I
often
was
you see an
walking-
iron lung, though, so do tell.
I was walking by Mass General on whatever street the main entrance is on, and there's like a little. It's really small. I don't even know if it's really a full museum or if it's just kind of like a showroom type thing. But you could see it from the road, from the sidewalk. There's just a legit iron lung sitting. Like you can window shop it.
Just
You
like
don't even
a-
have to
big
go
was
in.
it?
You
Can
can
you
just
like can you like go inside? Can you like hop inside? Pay like
No, I don't think so. I
5
wish.
cents.
There's still people that live in iron lungs. Like they may have gotten put in them when they were like 5 or something,
Really?
Jesus.
and they are just in it. They're still alive, but they can't come out of it.
That's
Huh.
horrifying.
It was
Yeah,
on like
that's-
60 Minutes a couple years ago. There's like an old man who still lives in iron. That's not.
Jeez.
Yikes.
Yeah.
The quality of life. It's like
Yeah, crazy.
It
And then
can't-
there was
can't be
on
good.
SpongeBob. There was the iron butt. Do you guys remember that one?
I do remember the iron butt.
he broke his butt and he had to get the iron butt.
SpongeBob. We could do a whole other segment on just SpongeBob talk. Home runs have fantastic terms too, and I think those are the last kind of general term. Oh, one that I do have that's not home run term. When you're told not to throw over to a base because it can only lead to something worse, you're told to eat the ball, eat it, just straight up eat it.
well, it's another good
Eat
one.
it.
Yeah.
Like
That's a
that.
great one when
That's
you're
actually-
when you're watching TV
Fitz, if
too.
we're getting
Like,
into home runs, let me because Ben, I want to get Ben's opinion. Ben, what are your thoughts on Oppo Taco as a term?
I am fine with Oppo Taco.
That's not what I was hoping to hear.
Yeah, I mean,
Oppo Taco appreciator.
It's not a very
knew I
firm
liked-
stance
I'm
though.
appreciate-
I am
knew I
not an
liked
Oppo Taco.
I've never given it.
I
Much,
think it's dumb. It doesn't rhyme. It doesn't make sense.
I've never given.
None
it
of these
nothing,
make
I don't
sense
get
for
it.
the most part. They're just fun
No,
to
but I
say.
mean, at least Oppo Taco. Where's that from? Nothing about it is like you can't even trace it to anything. It makes no sense. I hate it.
Well, that's a really strong stance on a.
Oh, I got a good one. I'm on.
First I heard it was the one man throw ride when he did his hype video in the car
Oppo
before
like
that
taco.
softball game.
Yep.
Doing my T work, doing
I think
flippies.
it just sounds. It just
It sounds fun.
you
It's
know,
fun to say. Live a little, Jake. You're
No.
down
No.
you're down there in paradise and you're poo pooing a fun term. Come on now.
I'm not. I've been stuck on it for a week. I've been thinking about Oppo Taco.
It's been keeping him up at night. You should have
I
asked
hate it.
Passon what his thoughts
I
are.
got a bone to pick with you, Passon. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I know. I should have asked him. He's like the encyclopedia.
I've got some other non-home run ones if we want to hit those before.
Sure, let's hear him.
Twin killing.
Oh, that's a good
A
one.
little dark, but
Well, if
classic
you want to
term
keep it
for double
if you
play.
want to keep it dark, suicide squeeze.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good term. The Sean
Yeah.
Kingston squeeze when you see a beautiful girl, you have to sacrifice yourself for the team.
Jeez. Ducks on the pond.
Ducks
Yeah,
on the pond.
Ducks
I
on the
actually-
Pond
I
is
had
a
that
great
written
one.
down as well.
Bases drunk.
Bases
Instead of
drunk.
Oh
bases
yes,
loaded.
I always say that.
Drunk-
I say
drunk
juiced or
drunk.
drunk always.
hmm
I never say loaded. It's too
Yeah.
have some fun with it.
A term for a bat, the shillelagh. Guys swinging the shillelagh.
Great
Yeah.
I
one.
love. Am I just rattling them off here? You guys got any
Yeah, do it up. No,
Like that?
yeah, keep on riffing, baby.
frozen rope?
Mhm.
Yep.
Piss missile.
Yeah.
I think I already said that.
Frozen rope, piss missile, same category.
Cock
there.
rocket. Yeah.
Cock rocket. Okay, I'll just do rapid fire. Web gem, jam job, snow cone, seeing eye single, Uncle Charlie, and
Uncle
one
Charlie is a good one. Yes.
and one that I just learned like a year or two ago was hug watch. When a guy's
Hug watch. What's a hug watch?
when a guy is on there's strong potential for a guy to get traded.
Oh
So
yeah,
people-
like
people
hashtag
look for
hog watch.
hugs.
Oh,
People
Fitz,
look
do you
for
think he said
hug.
hog watch?
I
No,
thought he said hogwash at
Well,
first.
first of
too.
all, it would make
Oh.
sense if we're keeping with the cock theme here. But
Yeah,
hug watch,
hog
no,
watch.
that I've not heard that before.
Hog watch would also sound like something from like old timey baseball.
Yeah.
Hog watch is when someone only who has 2 home runs on the day and could be on their third
Yeah.
because everyone's going to pull out their hogs after. So that guy's officially on hog watch.
Oh man.
God, I hope someone tonight has 2 home runs so we can tweet that.
Whose pit is who's throwing for the Jays?
It's Gosman and
Oh.
Seawold.
Yeah, the Pot on Lansdowne Twitter account for the rest of the year is going to be on big time hog watch.
That's all mine. I'm through my list.
I
That's a
got
good- that's
a
a
weird
damn good list.
I got a weird one I'm looking at. Have you guys ever heard of a Texas leaguer?
Yeah, it's like a
I've
blue.
heard of it. I forget what it's.
I
what
heard
it's
that on
defines.
broadcast
Like,
once, but I forget what
Yeah.
it was now.
Yeah, Ben's got it. It's a bloop hit that drops between an infielder and an outfielder. So like no man's
And then
land.
if you read about it, it's not it doesn't like it didn't come from the Texas League. Like nobody knows why it's called that. I
Jorge
remember
Posada
because,
was a Texas League merchant. Jorge Posada hit those. What feels like every other AB.
I think X
PTSD.
said it once. X said it once, and I googled it, and it's like a whole long entry, and it's like, yeah, they call it the Texas Leaguer, but everybody that was involved in the Texas League, like when that phrase came to be, they're like, yeah, that nobody ever said that or anything.
Yeah, we don't
Started
use
in
that
New
here.
Jersey.
We don't know what that is, but
What's
cool.
what's the Bush League origin? Anybody know
Ooh,
that?
Bush League's a
That's a
great one because
great
that's just
question.
all encompassing. I don't know where Bush League
That's good
started.
to say in any sport. That's
Bush
Yeah,
League
yeah,
is
yeah.
great because it's a substitute for a swear, but it still holds like the same weight as a swear almost. You don't often
Yeah.
see that where the substitute, the PG rated version, still carries
Ooh.
that same weight as calling it bullshit.
So I have the origin here for you guys. So from MLB.com, from the lips of the experts. So with Bush being a synonym for a rural area, non-major league clubs in small towns were referred to as Bush League teams in the early days of baseball. So I guess it sounds like they must have played dirty or unconventionally, and that's where it stemmed from. So
okay.
That is how we
describes
get the term.
something that is below professional standards is the official definition.
I always just
What
thought
was
it was
the
just a
thing-
substitute for bullshit.
What was the thing Johnny Gomes used to always say? It was like,
Boys Club Men's League.
yeah,
That's what I came straight to mind.
yeah.
He's like, put your hard hats on.
Yeah, put your heart empty in the quiver. Yeah, he just randomly. I think after they won the division, it's like it's a great team. It's been a great season so far. We're going to work hard. Boys Club Men's League. He
He
just
would just,
randomly
throw it
threw
in there.
Yeah, as if anyone knew what Boys Club Men's League was. But I loved it. I adopted
Just
it. I was like,
nodding your head.
I fuck with this.
It's like it's like a substitute for
Wait,
It's like-
guys. I'm so sorry. I'm
A
so
buffer
sorry.
word.
A tweet has just come on my desk. Kyrie opted in to his he's staying with the Nets now.
Ugh, God, that's gonna
What?
crash and burn. Ugh.
I don't understand that, man. He puts my mind in a pretzel.
Who
I
would
don't
be
know.
like the? Is there a baseball equivalent to Kyrie?
Milton Bradley? I don't know.
That's a good one.
Like
I was
some-
gonna
just think of like someone crazy.
Nigel
Nigel
Morgan.
Morgan.
maybe.
Well, that's exactly what I thought about when Jesse Winker flipped the double birds to the fans yesterday.
Oh,
I was
What, the
that's
Nigel
that's
Morgan one
Nigel
in
Morgan
center field?
style. What's up?
Well, I remember when Nigel Morgan gave up on that ball and he just started yelling like in center. He
you
was
see, like I don't know if he thought it went like
yeah, it was
off
just
his
sitting
glove
like a
over the
couple
wall.
feet
It's
to
just
the
like, no,
right
it's
of
right
him,
behind him.
and he just had a freak out, and the guy ran to third. It was an active ball.
What
And
was
he
it?
just-
He called himself Tony Plush. That was his like self.
That's one of the best nicknames
That's
of
so
all
good.
time. Tony.
That's clean.
Plush. That's so good. I'm gonna start calling myself Tony Plush.
Jakey Plush.
Jakey Plush. Well, yeah. What's Tony? Where that's not even his name.
I don't know where it came from.
That's awesome.
Oh man. If we wanted to wrap it up with the home run ones, we could do that because again, we could go long on. Well, no pun intended. You could go long on all the home run ones. I mentioned it last week. Yaya is one of my favorites that I recently remembered. Yaya's a great term. Tater, just home run.
Tater. I like Tater.
A round tripper. That's a good one.
Bridge.
Going
Bridge.
bridge.
Heck.
Going bridge. Act.
I like the
Excuse me.
I like the Spanish term for home run, which is quadrangular.
Ooh, I like that.
Ooh.
It's like a square. Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it like John Miller, who's always like adios pelota?
Yeah,
John.
John Miller rules.
He does.
I was gonna say, what you could do with this is you could just talk about like John Sterling's fucking
my
stupid
God.
calls.
That is far. That is far.
Nobody beats
Stantonian.
Stantonian. Yes,
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, yeah, like the star ones are always funny to reference. Like all right, so Judge. It's the random players that have had a stint here and
It is
there with
crazy
the Yankees.
he does it. It's crazy he does it
For
for
every player.
everyone. Every single one.
Like a couple years ago, he's on the Reds now, but he would go, Aaron's the judge, but Brandon's the jury.
That's really good.
I like that one.
Did
fantastic.
Kevin Youkilis have one? Like,
Had to have.
The
he
Greek
had
god of
to,
walks?
right?
Oh my God, Dustin Ackley, I'm looking it up now. He said, Dustin goes bustin'.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Dustin. Oh, Curtis, you're something sort of grandish.
Oh, that wasn't that like before he coined him the Grandy Man, where he was like still
Grandy.
He was workshopping. He was
exactly. He had to
wasn't
find
all the
something
way
that
there with
stuck.
that one. Oh, Kevin Youkilis was a uke or a nuke from uke. That's pretty easy.
Oh,
Nuke.
oh.
All right.
And Duhar, he hit it far, and he's getting Miggy with it.
Oh no.
Oh, apparently there was another one. Oh, he's Eucalicious.
That doesn't even make sense. That's just, you just put Alicious at the end of
I
you.
love
That's,
him.
oh, he's the best. I love Sterling. People rash on Sterling, Yankees fans,
How
non-Yankees
old
fans.
is he? He's got to be getting up there.
He's getting
He's
up
kinda
there,
Old.
I
He's
think.
old, man.
83. Jesus.
Oh my God.
for him.
Higashioka, the home run stroker.
That's good.
Oh my god. Who was it? Yoshi Tsutsugo hit one in Pittsburgh, and they said Sutsugio.
Oh,
A
like
reference to
Phil
Susudio
Collins
by Phil
song?
Collins, yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
I didn't like that one because I didn't get it off the bat. I thought he just mispronounced his name.
But he didn't sing it like the cadence of the song. He
But
just
that's
said,
what it was,
He
right?
just like
and
shouted it.
that song has nothing to do with hitting home runs.
you got to commit to that.
Yeah. Oh man. So many
Oh,
good ones.
gee.
Slam
Andrew
Diego.
Jones, the one year he was on the Yanks, his was Andrew Jones makes his bones.
What?
What was the one for like Vernon Wells? I'm just trying to think of like
Oh, I
random.
just
Yankee
read
names.
it. Let me find it. The Bronx is Vernon. Wells rings the bells.
What bells?
So good. I
My-
could read these. Oh,
The best home run
What's,
call ever is break out the rye bread and the mustard, Grandma.
Yeah, Grand Salami.
Yeah, Grand Salami.
Oh, what was the name of it? May he rest in peace. The Mariners guy. My oh my. What was
Dave-
his name?
Dave.
Steinhaus?
Dave? No, Dave
Jake is
Newhouse?
close.
Niehaus.
New. Yeah, right.
Niehaus?
Niehaus.
Niehaus, yeah.
That's
He
him.
passed a couple
Yeah,
years ago. I know
Jake
that.
Niehaus, yeah.
This is a good one too. Sorry, I'm just reading a list now. This is
No.
Shane Spencer was Shane Spencer, the home run dispenser. I love this.
It's another thriller from Godzilla.
Oh my God, Rob Refsnyder has one,
Wow.
and he's on the
wow.
Red Sox now. We could use this.
Yeah, we're
What's
gonna
Rough
steal
Side?
He's
that.
leading off. I think he's leading off.
He is correct.
Well,
That's
apparently
unbelievable.
he's. I'm assuming Rob is South Korean, which I didn't know until just now. But his is Rob Refsnyder has soul spelled
Like
S
the
E
yeah. The
Oh.
W-L.
Yeah,
I don't know if I like that one as much.
Chinese home run for Rob Refsnyder.
Hey now.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, now that term is officially retired.
Yeah.
That was
It's
it.
the last time you'll ever hear it.
You buried it right there. That was it needed.
In the dirt, 6 feet under.
Oh, yeah.
Glaber had John has a couple, like, I don't know if he gets paid on the side by some companies, but he's got a good Glaber Torres is there. For Mike Ford, it said Mike is built Ford tough. So he's getting that corporate money. Shout out to John Sterling.
Oh my God, Ben Francisco. This one's crazy. Ben Francisco is. This is great. He opened his golden gates and hit it into the seats. Hey,
Oh,
it's a
my
Ben
God.
Francisco treat. Did he
Well, this
say
is like-
that every time?
Like Ray Cerrone, the San Francisco treat. I get
whole-
that, but it's, ugh.
Oh my god.
He'll be at home plate by the time he finishes that one. It's like
There was that time Manny hit the home run in, was it Japan or Korea for the CPBL, but the announcer went, "This ball's long gone," just like the ex-girlfriend who will never return. Unbelievable.
Did you guys ever watch Brockmire? It was about the it was on
No, that's
IFC.
with Hank Azaria, right?
Yeah,
I've seen
and
the
in
first season.
Okay, so in the pilot, he says, he's like, somebody hits a home run and he's calling the game and he goes, and that ball will not be buried in a Jewish cemetery because it was tattooed. It's just, I always think of that one. That always makes me laugh.
Oh man.
Oh man, baseball terms are great. Shout out to baseball, and shout out to Ben for coming on to the pod to talk about baseball terms with us. 100%.
My pleasure, guys.
It's great to have a fourth.
Oh, one question. Fire away.
How did my favorite thing is your guys' Bob Nightingale cameo. How did that come into? How did that happen?
We paid him. What do you mean? We
had $30. He had time. Transaction paid.
I've seen the Orioles one, and then does he do like?
No, well, no.
Intro?
So Ben, the Orioles one is ours.
It's the same thing.
That's the same one.
He just started talking about the Orioles for some reason. We
gave him a script. So what happened was, like, we were about to record. This was right before the start of the season, or like right at the start of the season, whatever it was. Right, we were about to record, and like 45 minutes before we hit record, we noticed that Bob had a cameo on, and we're like, we have to do this, right? We checked; it's only like $30. We're like $10 a pop, easy peasy. Maybe we'll get it ready for next week's. He did it in a frighteningly, like, pretty quick amount of time.
He did it before we were done. He did it before we were done recording.
Yeah, it was like it probably took him like 45 minutes to do it, and we gave him a full script. Not even like a full ass script. You can only have like character limits.
Very clear guidelines.
Yeah. It's pretty quick. In quotes, say this, and it was like hi besties, this is Pod on Lansdowne with my pals Fitz, Jake, and Liam enjoying the show. That's all it was. Yeah. And then he decided it was going to be open mic, like improv night at the comedy club, where he had to give his takes on the Orioles.
Better times are ahead for the Baltimore Orioles.
My guess is that he saw, because I think Liam is the one who officially put on the transaction. Like he did all the cross the T's, dot the I's.
I just found the full thing, which
I
can read just to present how easy it really was to not fuck this up. It was, howdy everyone. This is USA Today columnist and America's sweetheart Bob Nightingale, and you're listening to Pod on Lansdowne with my besties Fitz, Jake, and Liam. Enjoy the show.
That's it.
So I think he got like 8 words of that.
He got the howdy. He got America's sweetheart, which was huge. And then he had to add his own commentary onto that. He's like, I am not deserving of this. I'm not sure about that. However,
we still don't know where he thought he thought we were in Orioles. Like,
well, again,
where that
my thought is that maybe he like something on his end saw that the order was coming from Maryland. That's my one guess.
Possible.
But then
or he just mixed up Lansdowne and Utah Street is my other.
I don't know. So I don't know how you do that. Sure. If you're the senior columnist for USA Today Baseball and you've done it for decades, I don't know how the hell you messed that up.
And I had never heard. I don't know if anyone had ever heard him speak before. It was just an absolute treat.
Well, we also think he may have been a little inebriated.
I think he had a foreign load. Yeah.
Yeah. When he recorded.
The cheeks were a little red. I think the button was down. He was kind of like talking on the side of his mouth. I think he helped himself.
He was half in the bag.
Which go off 100%. He deserves it.
Yeah. Hey, it was late. He probably got home.
His man cave was sweet.
It was so cool in that basement.
Room. Yeah.
You know what? I'll say it if no one else will. I'd love to have a beer with Bob Nightingale in his man cave.
Oh, that'd be a thrill.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He just tells all these baseball stories and he's getting all the facts wrong about it. Ken Griffey Jr. calling a shot in the World Series with the Yankees. That was Babe Ruth.
Most feared right-handers in the game.
He hasn't had a good boob moment, I don't think, since the lockout ended, right?
He's due.
Like,
That
I
was
mean,
one
You
of
say
the
that,
best
there's
he
gonna be
had
one
like
tonight.
4 in a row because he kept saying the lockout was over like
That
a
was
week,
an incredible
and
night.
it was
for-
like, no, actually, it's not, Bob. It's
Do you remember when he brought everybody like bagels while everybody was like camped out waiting for the lockout?
Oh,
to
everyone
end?
says he's like the nicest guy in the world, which
I'm sure he
100%
is.
I buy that. He's just not a good reporter. It is what it is. But like,
well, that picture
seems
was
like
the
he's
first,
America's sweetheart.
that picture was the first time where I had seen a picture of him where I was like, all right, this isn't like an amalgam of 10 different people's images. Because if you look at his Twitter picture, it's like
Yeah.
it's like eight pictures.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw a picture of him that wasn't taken with a potato for the first
Yeah,
time.
yeah, and I was like, "Oh, this is a real human being."
yeah, his
And
Twitter
then-
picture is extremely funny. It's like super low res.
You could I could kind of make out his right eye. I think that's his eye. I'm not 100% sure though.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Shout out to Bob. Ben, if people want to find you, if people want to follow up on the gambling stuff that you're doing there, or anything, any other good content, where can they go?
They can find me on Twitter at Ben13Porter, and that's pretty much it. If you want to follow me on Instagram too, I certainly welcome that, but I don't really do anything there. So
I don't know either. It's my
Twitter,
Instagram has
yeah.
basically just become a fan page for my fiance. That's really all it is. It's like it's just,
congrats on that, Fitzy. That's
thank you very much.
I know
Very,
it's been
very
I know
excited.
it's been a little while, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, I tweeted out a picture of us in Burlington a couple weeks ago, and I just referenced the fact that I'm just preparing to be a wife guy now, and I think other people thought I had just got engaged at that time, and so I was getting people were replying congratulations, that's very nice. We've been engaged for a year, but I appreciate it. it's great.
When's
but
the wedding?
September of 23, September 30th, 2023. So
Nice.
planning's, got DJ all taken care of, photographer, working on the wedding list right now. The politics behind invites and whatnot,
Sure.
So all that kind of stuff. But it's a fun process. It's a lot, but it's fun.
Maybe another cameo from Boob will.
I'd love
Be a
that. He
gift,
can
yeah.
officiate my wedding, 100%.
Oh
He can-
wow, you should ask him. That'd be crazy.
It's enough time for him to be an ordained minister. It's a year and change.
Oh yeah.
He can do it. He can
Well,
100%
Can you do it in an
officiate.
afternoon? I always thought you could do it in 15 minutes on there's websites.
Well, I don't want him to cut any corners there. I want a legit ordained Bob Nightingale
Okay.
to seal the deal
He would
here.
absolutely get both your names wrong, but it'd be funny.
For the content. For the content.
It would be funny for me and 4 people attending the wedding. My parents
Hey.
would not. Oh, my dad would find it funny. I guess he would know who Bob Nightingale is, but my mom would be like, "Who the hell is this random man?" And
Why is he
Why is
riffing
this
about
last-
the Orioles?
it's 6:30. The reception was supposed to start an hour and a half ago, and he's going on about DL Hall and Grayson Rodriguez.
Jonathan
Uh,
Arauz.
Love Bob. Yeah.
Sun God, baby. Johnny Sun God. So, all right, Ben, again, thank you very much, man, for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
having
Ben.
me, guys. It's fun.
Thanks, Ben.
Absolutely.